Betty. I want to thank Bhante for inviting me to speak about the projects. Actually, I'm a substitute because Patty Price, who is the chair of the project committee, couldn't make it today, so I am her substitute. The project committee is really wonderful in Buddhist Global Relief. They review the projects, they screen them, they look at the partners, and by the time it gets to the board for us to review, we almost always pass all of their suggestions for grants. That's how good of a job that they do. So our projects are usually in 4 categories, and that is direct aid, food aid, education, especially for young girls and women, right livelihood for women, and sustainable agriculture, and we're starting to get much more into sustainable agriculture. I came up with a visual aid because I'm not a public speaker, and so I probably need her right now to come up. We started our projects in 2008, and with 3 projects. So in 2008, we had 3 projects, and they amounted to about $14,000. And so that was one that went to Vietnam for the hospital feeding program, another to the Women's Livelihood Project in Sri Lanka, and then one in Cyclone Nargis relief in Myanmar. And what it was we went with organizations that some of our board members knew about, so we felt comfortable in donating to them. So we fast forward. And now we're in 2008. So this says it all, basically. Right now we have four projects in Bangladesh. One with Helen Keller, making markets work for women. Another educating children in the Chittagong Hill Tracts. Food support for School of Orphans, and educating ethnic Buddhist minority girls. It's a mix of Buddhist organizations that we partner with, as well as, for example, Helen Keller, a larger organization that's secular. We partner with large organizations such as Oxfam. We have 3 projects with them. I think one in India, one in Cambodia, I think, Ethiopia. We've partnered with Lotus Outreach International. I think this is our 7th year, and we work with them in Cambodia. And the main grant that we first started with them was a rice supply for girls who sometimes were at risk at not going to school because their parents needed them to work on the farm, or if they didn't get these rice supplies for the family, actually, the rice supply for the family, then sometimes they would be even exploited into the sex trade. So we've been working with the rice supply part of these scholarships for girls, and what happened was, because we're working with Lotus Outreach for so long, we found that now these girls have gone through elementary up to secondary school. They're now ready to go to college or vocational school, and they still need rice. So we also supply rice for the girl college students now, too, as part of the grant. We also, with Lotus Outreach, do non-formal education for former sex workers, and that's really a nice project, too, where they're trying to get out of the trade. They also often have little children, and we help with that helps with the supplies for schools and things so that the mothers can, feel comfortable. I think this is a new one is Cameroon, a food program for poor children. In China, we're doing first job experience training for young women. In Côte d'Ivoire, this is also Helen Keller, enhanced food production. We're doing enhanced food production, it's system of rice intensification as well as system of crop intensification. In Haiti, we're doing an after-school feeding program, and this one we've been doing for a few years now, and I think, if I remember, it started after the devastation of the hurricane, right? And it's still going on. I mean, the feeding program was going on at that time, but it escalated when all of these kids really were without homes and such, and they're still living without homes after all these years. I think we're helping to feed some 27,000 meals, lunches with this. And some of these kids, it's their only meal every day. And they walk, some of them walk for miles. Some of them even, the kids will take it home to share with their parents after they're done. So it's, even though it's direct aid, food aid, it's an important thing so that they can still get their feet on the ground and help their families. And also in Haiti, with Oxfam in America, we're expanding the system of rice intensification. And again, in Haiti, with What If Foundation, meals and schooling for children in Port-au-Prince. In Haiti, this is the second year, I think, for the breadfruit trees that feed people. It's the Trees That Feed Foundation. And in fact, some of you might be eating some of the breadfruit that Patty Price sent here. And it actually came, I believe, from Jamaica, where they have the first flour mill for the breadfruit, and it went via Chicago to Easton, Pennsylvania for Patty to make, and now it's here. And so you're eating basically the same breadfruit that our beneficiaries are eating. What's nice about that is that I think it's like for $15 a tree is planted, and that tree will feed a family for like 40 or 50 years. So that's sustainable stuff, you know. In India, we have a youth hostel for girls and women with the Bodhicitta Foundation, as well as, again, with Oxfam India, Enhanced Food Security for Women. That's a new project. In Rwanda and South Sudan, we're again promoting sustainable agriculture with Ecology Action. In Sri Lanka, we're empowering young women with the Center for Women's Research. In Vietnam, this is one of our first projects that we've been providing grants for since the inception. And let's see. Thank you. And then we can just go down to our domestic projects. There's one in Detroit, developing urban family gardens and community farms. And in New York City, with Reciprocity Foundation, who you'll be hearing from, and the Urban Rebuilding Initiative, we are helping with their sustainable urban food system development. And in Santa Clara County, we're cultivating organic home gardens. So in 2015, we have granted, for this year, $375,000. So you can see the progress over those 8 years. And I think that over these 8 years, we're now, let's see, we're at a total of grants, partner grants, of $1,595,000. That's great. And because we have a soft spot, and because there's so many emergencies in the world now, we do some emergency funding that we feel is important or that's tied in with food-related relief. And we have a total granted relief grants for $124,000 over the 7 or 8 years. So my time is ticking. But I wanted to read this one little thing. I've been reading about the mother mind in Africa, and I thought, wow, this really ties into the Bodhisattva mind. And it just was really pretty amazing that it's the same thing, basically. They talk about the warrior mind being the linear mind, and the mother mind being the one that's more intuitive and feeling and kind of sideways, maybe all over, maybe like the bodhisattva with all the hands, right? But it says that this mother mind intelligence does not need to solve problems in the traditional sense of the word solve, because many of these problems disappear as soon as mother mind is present. A hungry child is fed, exploitive behavior stops, we share, we sacrifice what we have for others. So it really is like the great compassionate mind that we're trying to do with Buddhist Global Relief and with all of you, and thank you for your support.